Hi everyone, I'm so excited you decided to click on this page and get a little bit of motivation. My name is Ariel and this is Positive A channel that was created to help motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to become the best version of you could possibly be. So with that said, let's get into it. Today's message is titled Roots. And at the beginning of every message, I like to read a good verse out of the good book, the Bible. This is something I do daily. And I highly encourage that you start doing it too, because the Bible truly has every single solution to every problem that you're going through. So we're reading out of Jeremiah 17 verses 7 and 8. And it reads, "Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord and whose hope is the Lord. For he shall be like a tree planted by the waters, which spreads out its roots by the river and will not fear when heat comes, but its leaves will be green and will not be anxious in the years of drought, nor will cease from yielding fruit." What was Jeremiah saying here? He is saying it matters who you are connected to. Like they say, birds of a feather flock together. Where you plant your roots is what you will produce. What fruit are you producing? But most importantly, where are your roots planted? Where have you decided to plant your roots at? I know we all come from our own little families. We can't pick our families. It's just God's will. He chose us to be there, but we come to a point in our lives where we get to make a decision of where we are going to plant ourselves. Are we going to plant ourselves here in the world? Or are we going to plant ourselves with our Father? And that's what Jeremiah was saying here. Like he said in verse 8, you're like a tree planted next to a river. You will sit there and dig your roots close to the water, deep in the water. And when drought comes, you're not going to worry. You're not going to think like, oh my gosh, I'm going to shrivel up. I'm going to dry up. I'm not going to produce fruit. No, you're going to be calm. You're going to be peaceful. You're going to be like, I got so much water in me. I don't thirst for none. Actually, I'm overflowing with water. I got to produce more fruit. Me producing more fruit can give more people life out of me. That's what will happen to you when you plant yourself in fertile ground, when you plant yourself next to something that's going to continue to give you life. And the only one who can continue to give you life and life more abundantly, yes, is our Father God. Just like Jesus said in John 10:10, the enemy came to steal, kill, and destroy. He came to make sure you dry up, you shrivel up, and you are anxious and worried when drought comes. But guess what? Jesus came to give you life and life more abundantly. He came to make sure you overflow, sweetheart. He came to make sure you produce more fruit that you got to give it away because you can't contain it all. It's just overflowing out of you to bless other people around you. So who are you connected to? Like I said at the beginning of this, we can't pick our families, but at some point in our lives, just like a little plant that's planted in a little pot, it grows, and at some point it gets bigger to where it has to be transplanted somewhere else. Either you're going to put it in a bigger pot to where it can develop more and get bigger, or you're going to be unwise and put it in the ground, in the world, where it's not even going to develop properly. And your Father God is saying, take yourself out of that little pot. Take yourself out of that negative situation. Take yourself out of that relationship. Take yourself out of that grief. Take yourself out of that anxiety. Take yourself out of that depression. Take yourselves out of that worry and that doubt and that poverty mindset and plant yourself here with me. Dig your roots deep down with me. Allow yourself to stay connected to the vine, because I will continue to feed you. I will continue to make sure you have water flowing through you. Just like the Spirit of the Lord was hovering over the water, that's what your Father God wants to do with you. He wants to stay within you, sleep deep down within you. But the only way He can is if you plant your roots with Him and allow Him to develop you, allow Him to guide you, allow Him to protect you, allow Him to steward you, because that's all He wants to do. He's saying, please take your hands off this wheel. I'm trying to drive you to this river over here so you can dig deep, so you can plant your roots deep. Plant them deep with me, because guess what? They'll never run dry. and you won't worry. And you won't stress, and you're just gonna have peace. And guess what? When you dig the deeper you dig those roots with your Father God, the higher you can grow, because the higher you go and the deeper the roots, you can withstand the wind that comes your way. You can withstand things that are trying to knock you down because you are so deeply rooted with your Father God. When the enemy tries to come around and throw stones at you, or when the enemy tries to come around and throw wind at you, and when the enemy tries to come around and tell you you're nothing, or when the enemy try to throw bills at you unexpectedly, you're like, that is nothing to me. I can take care of that. And guess what? I paid their rent too. And guess what? I bought them groceries over there because my roots are planted deep, and I'm just going higher and higher, and I can withstand the heat that you're trying to throw at me. It's nothing to me. It's nothing but petty. And guess what? That's what your Father God wants you to have on the inside of you. He wants you to be that strong on the inside to where you can confidently say, I am a strong tower because my Father God, the glory and the water flows through me, and I have fruit and more fruit abundantly, not only for me, not only for my family, but for strangers on the street, just to be blessed, to be a blessing. So will you be blessed to be a blessing today and allow your roots to be dug deep with your Father God? That's what he's asking you today. So dig those roots deep with him and allow the food and the fruit and the water to overflow with you. And if you know somebody connected to you can use this message, I ask that you share, because I just want to do my part in helping you and everyone around you be the best versions of them they can possibly be. So with that said, please do not forget to subscribe and do not forget to comment, because I enjoy reading each and every one of your guys' comments. And until next time, know your Father God loves you, and so do I. Mwah!